All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the much anticipated Give Me 5 segment. So, back to CNN. Wolf Blitzer. Wolf Blitzer is talking to Jason Miller, one of the key communications people in the Trump campaign. And with all the revelations that have come out, with all the emails that have been disclosed, and all the cooperation between and the planning and conniving and the capitulating to the Clinton campaign by the media, and the Donna Brazile allegedly giving the questions to Hillary, and Glenn Thrush of Politico writing to Podesta, "I'm a hack. Did I do okay on the story? Don't tell anybody." And the New York Times letting Hillary pick the quotes, and right on down the line, Wolf Blitzer takes it here with Jason Miller.
There's a lot of concern, especially those of us in the news media, journalists, that he's trying to undermine the First Amendment freedom of speech by going after the news media, raising all sorts of sordid questions about the news media. You've dealt with the news media your career for a long time. You feel comfortable with the way he treats the news media right now, suggesting he wants to have easier availability for government, for presidents, if you will, to go ahead and sue journalists and sue news organizations?
I was watching this yesterday, and I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Nothing they do anymore, especially CNN, can really shock me. But the nerve of this man, and the way they tried to, and every time, by the way, Jason Miller had tried to bring up Hillary, all Wolf wanted to do was talk about suing the women. Suing the women, still. And Jason Miller's trying, Wolf, we need to talk about the issues of Hillary, this, and why doesn't he sue the women now? You know, it's pathetic. But to turn this around, that Donald Trump is a threat to the First Amendment, when the media has been exposed for being what they are, for losing all, if they ever had any, of their journalistic integrity and values, and cooperating and planning with the Clinton campaign. And this man has maybe it's smart. I didn't see that happen, but here's the real problem. Trump is against the media. Trump is against the First Amendment. He's against the media. He's not against the First Amendment. Here.
Wolf, with all due respect, I think that's a rather one-sided interpretation of what Mr. Trump is saying. The reason why people love Mr. Trump is because he's willing to fight back. He's willing to stand up against this rigged system. He's willing to make his voice heard, and he's not going to be a wallflower that's going to get pushed around. And so when we see the incredible, I mean, even your very own respected Jake Tapper, who I think is one of the best in the business, is someone who's called out media bias, talking about the fact that there have been an incredible amount more time spent on attacks against Mr. Trump than against Secretary Clinton.
Yeah. Really? Wolf was like, really? Gee, I don't know anything about that. Here's more.
The reality is that it is biased, Wolf. There's no
doubt that there's a bias out there, that conservatives are biased, liberals are biased, no doubt about that. The whole point, though, is you don't go after the First Amendment and freedom of the press. That is sacred, as you know, as I know, our viewers know. You don't try to undermine that and say we're going to change the rules of the game, because free press is so critical to our country. I assume you agree with me on that.
As does Mr. Trump.
Conservatives are biased. Liberals are biased. Yeah, here's the thing, Wolf. CNN and the New York Times and Politico and the people who have been exposed through the emails, I mean, we've known about them for forever, but they've been exposed now, aren't supposed to be biased. They're supposed to be, like Chris Cuomo says he is, Mr. Right down the middle, which is another joke and a half. So to say conservatives are biased, I mean, if Wolf Blitzer is so unable to grasp and comprehend what has been exposed and really doesn't see it, then there's no hope. But my analysis of the situation is he's an intelligent man. He's seen these emails. He has to know they got caught red-handed. So he changes the narrative and turns it around. Whether he got, I don't think he got help from the Clinton campaign on this or advice. I think he thought of this all on himself. You're doing good, Wolf. You're doing good for the cause. Or as Brian Stelter, your CNN compadre, would say, you're preserving and helping to preserve democracy by making sure we don't focus on what we really learned. What the real problem is, turn it around against Donald Trump in a fictional way. That's brilliant, Wolf. Maybe Wolf is smarter than all of us. Here's more.
He attacks the president almost every rally. He points to the journalists who are trying to do their jobs, and he says to the crowd, look at them. And then he uses some really awful words to describe reporters who are working really hard, Jason, just to get the news out there. They're doing their job. You know them. I know them. And for him to attack the news media like that is not acceptable.
He attacks the news media. Now he's conflating the two things, either out of ignorance or, I believe, on purpose. Trying to redo and reshape the First Amendment is certainly different than when a candidate who's been treated, and now it's been exposed officially, certainly unfairly and certainly in a harassing manner by the media, says it and speaks out about it and points to them. That's different than threatening to undo the First Amendment. So he's conflating the two, and he knows he's doing. He's got to know he's doing it, or he's, or he doesn't belong on television. But very sly. You see what he's doing here? And one more.
Well, with all due respect, I think that you're completely missing the point here. The point is that Mr. Trump is going to push back. Look, Wolf, there are entire networks on TV that every time you turn them on, it's one big attack against Mr. Trump. Of course, he has to have the ability to push back. He has to have the ability to set the record straight and to tell the American people the truth, that he is going to stand up, he is going to be their voice in Washington, he's going to drain the swamp, he's going to defeat Hillary Clinton.
There's no doubt he has every right to say that and do that, and I'm sure he will continue to do that. But when you go further and you say we're going to change the rules and undermine the First Amendment, make it difficult for journalists to do their jobs, that's different. We'll continue this down the road.
I'm sure we will.